If you can't stop that, then we're going to have to stop it. Whether it's you guys or someone else.
Because there's no way these people are paying their own rent, paid their way over here, or any of this other. My money is doing it. Third countries are trashed. I've been to a lot of third world countries that are trashed.
This is Sylacauga, Alabama. I live less than an hour from this town, so I'm very familiar with it. This lady's talking about third world countries are trashed. This is Sylacauga, Alabama. I actually mentioned on this video that I have traveled all over the United States and I've never seen a nastier town than Sylacauga. And this was years ago, so this isn't something new. It's very hypocritical for somebody who lives in Sylacauga, Alabama, to talk about somewhere else being trash when, well, quite frankly, it's the trashiest town in America. So before we get into today's video, let me tell you something about Sylacauga, Alabama, a town that I'm very familiar with since I lived in this vicinity. These are some of the most inbred, backwards, and stupid hicks on the face of the earth. These are the types of people that live in bedbug infestations. These are the types of people that are literally inbred, like they literally mate their own family members and have kids and families with their own family members. Right next to Sylacauga, there's a quarry, and the entire town of Sylacauga could fit inside the quarry. In other words, they don't have any respect for the land. They litter, they dump garbage, and literally they've dug a hole that will be there for eternity next to their town because they've even have no respect for the land itself where they live. These are some of the most savage people you're ever going to meet. They're racist, they're backwards, they're uneducated. There were more people in Sylacauga in 1960 than there are today. Decade after decade, the population has remained stagnant because people leave this area. The people that are born here get tired and they find somewhere else. It's a place that has had literally zero growth since the 1960s. For 84 years, this area has gone absolutely nowhere. Now, this woman said that she doesn't believe that these Haitian immigrants can pay their rent. She said she's well-traveled, by the way. She says she's well-traveled, but she doesn't think that it's impossible for a Haitian to pay rents. Rents in Sylacauga, Alabama, for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house are ranging between $750 a month to $1,000 a month. Here in Florida, in Little Haiti, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house starts at $3,600 a month. We have 600,000 Haitians in Florida, and they live in South Florida, the most expensive part of the state. I am sure if you can afford to live in Miami and in Naples, you can afford to live in Sylacauga where rent costs a quarter of the price. And we saw what the man said. He pretty much said, hey, if you guys don't want to get rid of these people, we will. When he says we will, who do you think he's referring to? He's obviously referring to hate groups. And I'm not surprised. When I lived in this part of Alabama, I noticed that some of the churches, labeled as churches, were actually places where the Klan would gather. And I'm not making this up. I lived in this area, so you can't pull the wool over my head. I lived among you savages, you bedbug infested, filthy varmints. My wife is an American from Michigan, and I'm a U.S. citizen, and we actually had to move away from this region of Alabama because of all the hate, discrimination, and persecution that we faced from the locals. So, and just like they said in the video, they don't care if these people are legal or not. They just don't want them there. And that's exactly the way these people feel. And I've been telling you guys that for a while. See, these people in Alabama are a completely different breed of rodent. They're nothing like the rest of us in society. These people in Alabama are absolutely something else. They're nothing like the rest of us in society, and a lot of us in society don't even understand how these people think. You wouldn't understand these people unless you actually lived there among them and saw how they behaved, saw how animalistic and hateful these people are. These individuals are literally going up to the city council and telling city council, hey man, if you guys don't get rid of these people, the Klan will. And that's exactly what this person told city council. And I've been telling you guys for a while that this is exactly how this area is. Now, these individuals are both saying that they are well-traveled and they've been all over the country and all over the world, and immigrant communities are destroying the country. Let me ask you a question. What immigrant community in the United States looks like this. They haven't had growth in 84 years. Look at this place. I live in Sarasota, Bradenton, right outside of Tampa. This is a diverse area. And at the end of today's video, I'm going to show you guys what our area looks like. We have the highest population growth in the United States by percentage year after year. We have a vibrant immigrant community. We have lower crime rates. Do you know what the homicide rate is in Sylacauga, Alabama? Let me give you guys an idea. 21 per 100,000. You are more likely to be murdered in Sylacauga, Alabama than you are in Chicago. That's a real analytic. In 2018, the homicide rate in Sylacauga was 24 per 100,000. That was before COVID. Homicide rates in the United States didn't even increase until 2020. If in 2018 their homicide rate was 24 per 100,000, that means that living here is more dangerous than living in Chicago or Oakland, California. Yet these individuals have the nerve to say that if they let these immigrant groups move in, it's going to bring crime to their city. Really? You're telling me that a place that's more dangerous than Oakland, California and Chicago is concerned about crime getting worse? They have become accustomed to violence in Alabama. For them, violence in Alabama, it's normal. And they want to go ahead and call these Haitians criminals. Let me give you an example. Miami, Florida is a city with millions of people in the metropolitan area. And the homicide rate in Miami is less than half of what it is in Sylacauga. And that's a large city. Just about the entire northwest side of Miami is nothing but Haitians and little Haitis in northeast Miami. Miami has a huge Haitian community, yet it is half the homicide rate of Sylacauga, Alabama. So these people here, they're lost. They really believe that their little town with a homicide rate of 24 per 100,000, you're more likely to get killed here than you are in Oakland or Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, you're actually more likely to get killed in this little town than you are in Oakland or Chicago. Despite that, they actually believe that these Haitian immigrants are going to bring crime to their town. The people of this area of Alabama are the laziest people on earth. When people see the poverty rates in Alabama, they're shocked and they believe there's no jobs, there's no opportunities. That is not true. I lived here. I made more money in Alabama than I ever did in Florida. The 1 year that I lived in Alabama, my net worth increased significantly. They made me leave. I had to leave because they forced me for my safety, but I didn't want to leave. I was making a lot of money in Alabama. The reason the poverty rates are so high in Alabama isn't because there are no opportunities. It is because the people are lazy. Doe B, an artist from Montgomery, Alabama, Montgomery is just an hour and 10 minutes away, had a lyric where he said, in Alabama, the first of the month is like a holiday. That's the way these people in Alabama live. They don't celebrate Christmas. They don't celebrate the 4th of July. Do you know what people in Alabama celebrate? They celebrate the first of the month because they get their food stamps, because they get their disability, their SSI. These people are the laziest people on earth. I couldn't believe how easy it was to make money in Alabama. I wish I could still be raking in money now like I was in Alabama. It's the easiest place in America to make money because the people here don't want to work. They want to leech off the government. They want to get SSI. They want to get food stamps. And if they work too many hours, well, they'll take away their food stamps. Did you guys hear what that lady said? She said she can't understand how these Haitians can pay $750 for rent. The rest of America has to pay 4 times that, bro. I pay $2,600 a month for a small 2-bedroom apartment in Sarasota. This should just give you an idea of how stupid and backwards and retarded these people are in Alabama. And by the way, retarded means you're late, you're behind on time. There's always somebody, you use the R word. Retarded means you're backwards, you're back in time, you're stuck in time. Stupid. Now, these people in Alabama actually believe that $750 in rent is so much money, how can they afford it? Dude, Haitians live in Miami. A 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Miami is almost $4,000 a month right now if you can even find it. This should just open your eyes to how backwards and stupid these people are in Alabama. How do you come up with $750 a month in rent? Really, dude? I gotta come up with $2,700 in rent just about when I put my utilities in it. I lived among these people. And it's interesting that she used the word dirty and trashy to describe other countries and other parts. I lived among these people. I would go work for these people. And I had people where I had to walk away. They would be living among a bedbug infestation. Living among a bedbug infestation. These people would burn their garbage in burn barrels. They don't even have garbage collection. They burn their garbage in garbage barrels. See those green garbage cans? You have to pay like $30 a year or something to have a garbage can. There's people in this region of Alabama who burn their garbage in a barrel. Tampons, diapers, dirty tampons and dirty diapers. They burn it in a garbage barrel in their backyard because they don't want to pay $30 a year for a green waste management garbage can. Dude, these people are complete savages. Now, I have lived among these people in Alabama, and I have lived among Haitians in Florida. And I can tell you that by far, Haitians are clean. They're oh my gosh, Haitian people are a joy to be around. They're hardworking. They're clean. If you were telling me these people, they don't, and the guy, I'm going to put the link on the video. The guy was talking about how, he's lived in other places and he's seen what these communities, bro, I live among Haitians. I can tell you that Haitian people are a joy to be around, and they're hardworking, clean people. It's very misleading that these people, the two people in town that have traveled, going, we've been to all these places, you got to listen to us. Really? You've been to other places? You're telling me that you live in Sylacauga, Alabama, one of the nastiest towns in America. Actually, when I went to Sylacauga a few years ago, if you watched the original video, I talked about how this is a nasty, like those piles of garbage by the side of the road. Like, what is this? And then they have the nerve, being this nasty, to go and talk about somebody else being trashy. Get the crap out of here. These people live in bed bug infestations, and they burn diapers and tampons in burn barrels. The level of filth and inhumane behavior that I saw while living in Alabama is unmatched. There's nothing like this in America. I've been all over the United States as well, and let me tell you that what's happening in these towns in Alabama, it's just unbelievable. The filth, the garbage, they're just nasty people. They live like this. Look at this. Look at how these people are living in the United States of America. Haiti has been hit by hurricanes back to back. They had an earthquake. They have political unrest. These people are in the heart of the United States and they're living like this, dude. They're embarrassing. And yet they got the nerve to try to call out immigrant groups who are coming here for a better life. Look at how these people are living. And the reason that these companies want these Haitians here is because the people here are so lazy. They don't work. Look at the streets. These people, all they do is sit around drinking fireballs and burning garbage. They don't work. Look at this place. You're gonna tell me that's this town here. Okay, they're telling the local people in this town that if immigrants move here, it's gonna ruin their town. By the way, they say it's gonna bring crime to their town. By the way, your homicide rate is higher than Chicago and Oakland, California. By the way, your town's population hasn't grown in decades. By the way, your town is absolutely filthy and disgusting. By the way, your town is falling apart. It's being abandoned. By the way, companies can't find workers in your town. By the way, companies are considering bringing people from other places because they know they can't rely on you guys. Yet you have the nerve to criticize somebody else who's actually coming here to make a better life. And then, what's crazy is that the people that live in these towns, they hear these two people talking and they believe that. That they believe that the whole thing about, we've traveled across the world and we've seen what immigrant communities will do to a place and we don't want to be like that. These people in this town, they hear that and they believe it because they don't know any better. Look at this, guys. Look at that. Look at the garbage in Sylacauga. You're telling me that you need to shut your mouth. You need to shut your dang mouth, young lady. Look at how filthy these people are. Look at this. I had to stop my vehicle. I literally had to stop my vehicle and be like, and nowhere else in America have I seen this much filth on the side of the road. You got the nerve living like this to talk about our Haitians here in Florida? Get the crap out of here. Let me show you guys where I live in Sarasota, where we have a huge Haitian community. We have a huge Mexican community. We have Hondurans, Salvadorians, Cubans, Venezuelans. Let me show you what our city looks like. And you tell me, and by the way, I'm going to give you analytics as well. We saw Sylacauga. Let's take a look at where I live now. And I've lived near here, and this is where I live now. I currently live in the Sarasota and Bradenton area. In 2023, Sarasota, a diverse city with Haitians, Cubans, Mexicans, and many European immigrants, had 0 homicides. Now, Sarasota has nearly 60,000 people. Imagine a city of 60,000 people that had 0 homicides last year. Compare that to Sylacauga, Alabama, a small town of 12,000 people where every single year people are killed in homicides and gun violence. How can they say that their filthy, rundown town that hasn't had population growth since the 1960s is going to become a crap hole if immigrants came to their town? Look at how many immigrants we have in Bradenton, Florida. This is downtown Bradenton. Downtown Bradenton, Florida has an influx of tourists, immigrants, and people from all over the world. Look how beautiful Bradenton, Florida is. And while Bradenton, Florida's homicide rate is above the national average, it's nowhere near Sylacauga, Alabama's crime rates. Unfortunately, the people in Sylacauga, Alabama will believe what these people are saying. I've traveled the whole world and it's filthy. In reality, people who have actually traveled the world will tell you that the Deep South, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, are among the most dangerous places in the world. And well, we've traveled as well. All you guys, if you watch my YouTube videos, you've traveled with us and you've seen these places. This is beautiful Bradenton, Florida. We have Haitians here. In fact, I was Uber driving on this particular day. You can see I'm stopping here to drop off a passenger in front of this hotel. And on this particular day, 60% of my Uber passengers were Haitians. You know, are you Haitian American or just American?
Just Haitian.
Haitian. Oh, you are Haitian. Ça passe. It's beautiful to be Haitian, mama.
Yes.
Don't let nobody tell. Don't be afraid to tell people you're Haitian.
No, I'm proud of it.
Yeah, it's beautiful to be Haitian. After seeing the footage of Sylacauga, Alabama, and comparing it to South Florida where we live, where we got Haitians, Cubans, everybody down here, and our communities are safe and amazing and beautiful, it's laughable. These people in Alabama who live in crime-infested towns that have had no population growth in decades got the nerve to say that if we let these communities move in, Alabama is going to become like other places. You mean we'll have workers? You mean they will have population growth? You mean they're actually not going to have to wait 45 minutes at a Starbucks drive-thru like you do in Alabama because everybody's lazy? Bro, these people are so backwards. And the sad thing is that the people that see these videos in the city, they're actually going to believe that. Because the people said, we've traveled all over the world, and I've seen all types of things when I've traveled. And the people in that town, they'll hear that and they'll believe it. But for us here in South Florida, look, these are Guatemalans. Look, they're out there working, dude. They're out there. Get out of our way. We're working, you know. They got things to do. They got houses to build. That's why look how beautiful and how fast growing South Florida is, thanks to the labor force of Haitians, Guatemalans, and all these people. But these people in Alabama, bro, they don't know any better. They'll hear this stuff and they'll actually believe it. And they don't know the reality is that all this beautiful Florida thing we got going on. Southwest Florida is booming from Naples to Tampa, Manatee, Sarasota, Charlotte. This whole area is popping off. We've been the fastest growing cities in the whole country for like 5 years straight. We couldn't do it without our Haitians. We couldn't do it without our Salvadorians, Hondurans, and Guatemalans, and Mexicans and Cubans out here. Look at this, dude. We are the fastest growing region in the whole country. The Florida Panhandle ain't growing. They got better beaches than us. Have you ever thought about the fact that the Florida Panhandle has the state's best beaches and they haven't been able to grow because they don't have immigrant groups there to work? Look at these new apartments. These apartments are going to be $2,400 a month for a two-bedroom, I guarantee it. Right outside of Tampa, 35, 40 minutes from beaches. Why do you think the Florida Panhandle hasn't been able to grow like we have? You don't see any Florida Panhandle cities on the fastest growing cities in Florida. Why? Because they don't have the labor force to do it. We've been able to become what we are in Florida with growth, with fastest growing areas, and safety. Most importantly, safety. Oh my gosh. When I moved back to Florida, I felt so relieved. In Alabama, it is so dangerous. It's scary to live there. I used to carry a handgun, and eventually I stepped it up to something bigger just to go to the grocery store to get a gallon of milk. These people live like savages, and they got the nerve to say that we're the ones that are doing something wrong. And again, the saddest part about this is that these people in Alabama will hear this and they'll believe it. Come to Sarasota, come to Bradenton, see our beaches, see how fast our area of Florida, Southwest Florida, is growing from Naples, Fort Myers. All these towns are growing. All these towns have beautiful beaches. And every single day, new buildings are going up, new apartments, new houses, all thanks to the labor force of immigrants. And we are the safest area in the country. Southwest Florida continues to have counties like Manatee, Collier, and Charlotte with homicide rates less than half the national average. Okay, Sarasota County, less than half the national average. Bradenton, which is Manatee County, less than half the national average. Charlotte County, less than half the national average. Collier County, less than half the national average. Hillsborough County, it's a large city of Tampa, right? They're about the national average. That's freaking great. That's great to be at the national average for Tampa, right? Hillsborough County to be at the national average. The same thing can be said about Pinellas County, which is St. Pete. Right now, the national homicide rate is about 7 per 100,000. That's about where St. Pete and Tampa sit. That's great. Okay, for large urban areas, that's great. Birmingham, Alabama, which is right outside, Sylacauga is right outside of Birmingham, right? Birmingham, Alabama's homicide rate is 10 times the national average. Did you hear me? 10 times the national average. These people in Alabama need to shut their mouths. Look, if you still have any doubts about what I'm saying, let me show you something. If you're watching from Alabama, I know I've been harsh on you in today's video, but listen to me and study this, please. If you live in Alabama or one of these other little places that has this mentality, pay attention to what I'm about to teach you right now, okay? Because this is really important. I want you to pause the video and study these analytics and compare it, okay? I'm going to show you guys the cities that have the highest homicide rates in America, and I'm going to show you guys the cities that have the least foreign-born population. They overlap. So these are the cities with the least foreign-born population in the United States. On the far right, those numbers there are the percentage of foreign-born population. You can see Montgomery, Alabama, which is about an hour away from Sylacauga, has the lowest percentage of foreign-born population in the United States at only 2.7% of the population. Now, in red, 42 is their homicide rate. 42 is considerably higher. Now, Birmingham, Alabama is the fourth city with the least percentage of foreign-born population. You can see they're at 3.8%, and their homicide rate is 77, which is more than 10 times the national average. So you can see these are the cities in the United States that have the lowest percentage of foreign-born population. Only Lubbock, Texas, Chesapeake, Virginia, and Spokane, Washington are cities that have very little foreigners but are still safe cities. In other words, all these cities highlighted in yellow are among the most dangerous cities in America, and right next to them in red are the homicide rates for those cities. So you can understand that the cities that have the least foreign-born population are all the cities with the highest homicide rates. Now, that isn't a coincidence. That isn't just by chance, okay? So here are the cities with the highest homicide rates in America. You'll see that the vast majority of the cities that have the highest homicide rates are also on the list of cities that have the lowest foreign-born population, with the exception, of course, of Philadelphia, Newark, and Kansas City. But the vast majority of these cities that have very low foreign-born population happen to be the most dangerous cities in the country by homicide rate. Now, on the left, this is the list of the safest cities by homicide rate. You'll see on the right the cities that have the highest foreign-born population. You'll notice that the cities in the United States that have the lowest homicide rate are also the cities in the United States that have the highest percentage of foreign-born population. So when you look at crime in general, the cities that have the highest percentage of foreign-born population are also the cities that have the lowest homicide rate. However, when you look at cities on the other spectrum, the most dangerous cities in the United States all happen to be the cities that have the least amount of foreign-born population. So this whole idea that immigrants will turn a place dangerous, it isn't analytical. There are a few exceptions. For example, you can see on the right that Oakland, California has a lot of immigrants, but their homicide rate highlighted in red is 20 per 100,000. So there are a few exceptions to the rule, like, for example, Oakland, California. However, Oakland, California's homicide rate is still lower than Sylacauga. It's still a quarter. Montgomery is 2 times higher than Oakland, and Birmingham is 4 times higher than Oakland. So even then, you still can't make a case. There's always exceptions to the rule. There's a few cities like Chesapeake, Spokane. These cities don't have a lot of immigrants, but they're very safe. But those are the exceptions to the rule. You have here clear analytical information. Now, if you were to tell me that it was the other way around, right? If we looked at the most dangerous cities in America and they all had high foreign-born population, then we could agree that immigrants are causing crime. But if you look at this list right here, there's only a few exceptions to the rule. I mean, you have Oakland, California, Newark, New Jersey. There's 2 cities that have a lot of immigrants and have a lot of crime. And even then, it's only like a fraction of the crime you have in Birmingham or Montgomery. Even Miami and Los Angeles, right, are at about 10 per 100,000. It's a little bit above the national average, but I guess that's okay for a large city, you know? But when you look at the large cities that don't have immigrants, like Montgomery and Birmingham, these are the most dangerous cities in America. So I hope you guys in Alabama will study this information and come to understand that you have a problem. It isn't these immigrants aren't the problem, you're the problem. And let me tell you, after living in Alabama for a year, less than an hour away from Sylacauga, you guys are savages. You guys are violent. You guys are scary. You guys are full of hate. You guys are filthy. You guys are nasty. You guys are full of bed bugs. You have no right to speak on Haitians. Haitians are hardworking people. They're clean. When I go Uber driving, 60% of my customers on particular days can be Haitians. And when I see a passenger and they're Haitian, I get a sigh of relief, especially if I'm working late at night, because these people are hardworking people and they're just getting back and forth from work. I don't have to worry about my safety. So for those people in Alabama, the real reason you don't want those people there is because they're hardworking people and they will take jobs that you guys aren't going to do. They're going to take your job because you don't have a job. You're living off the government. What job are they going to take from you? These companies in Alabama need hardworking people, and they can't use the local labor force because these people are lazy. That's why they're bringing in these Haitians, because these Haitians are very hardworking people. Look, Sylacauga, Alabama, you've been around Haitian people for 2 days. You don't know what a Haitian is because you've never seen one. I've lived in South Florida for over 25 years. I've had Haitian people live next door to me for over 20 of those years. These are good, hardworking people. And they are better than you. If they may have faults, they're not perfect, but they're better than you. They're harder working than you, they're cleaner than you, and they are not as scary and violent and deprived and violent as you are. I've lived among Haitians and I've lived among Alabamians, and I would 100 times over rather live around Haitians than you people in Alabama. I hope to never have to see you people in Alabama again. You people are scary.